What's up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka the habitual chin licker. If I see a cleft chin, ooh. Oh, aka who keep licking my kneecaps, aka Dokomaki Tiger Dropper, aka Maidenless and Tarnished, aka the undisputed, undefeated, uncontested social distancing champion, aka the nigga lip master, bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sights, episode 144. 144. Today's date is March 10th, 2022. This time is going. It's going. It really is. For those that don't know, Switches Sights podcast is a solo video game podcast where I talk about just that. Yeah. Let's see. The world is still horrible. Very important update. Kim Kardashian talking about people can't. What did she say? She said something about people. People don't know how to work anymore, or something like that. But you was born in the richness. How does that work? Not paying people for internships, doing internships to get people to work for you for free. But I digress. Anyway, keeping it in the video game realm, interesting stuff popped off this week. State of Play came out of nowhere. We definitely have a lot to discuss about that. Evo 2022 games being announced. There's a whole thing within that. So you know what? Let's stop the dilly-dallying and get right into it. First topic of discussion. If I can get my codes in. Excuse me. That's not the first topic. What am I doing? March 2022 PlayStation State of Play dropped. Some interesting announcements. You know what? We just gonna trickle through them. First is a Diofield Chronicle. This feels like the what is it? The State of Play of Misdirects, if anything. Just in no particular order, the Diofield Chronicle, which at least at first glance, I think everybody, including myself, was thinking it was Final Fantasy Tactics, which is one of the most, I'd say, renowned non-canonical Final Fantasy games that would totally make sense to be remade, but of course it was not. It's the Diofield Chronicle, so I believe this is a totally original IP. I thought it interchanged with Valkyrie Elysium, which is what I think they showed right after. It seemed like they were two separate games, but I guess that's the case. Let me refresh my memory real quick, just to be sure. So this is the Dialfield Chronicle. Huh. That's weird. So yeah, I guess they're two totally separate games. So the Dialfield Chronicle is just its own turn-based strategy game that's not Final Fantasy Tactics by Square. And then there's a separate game called Valkyrie Elysium, which is a more of an action RPG, kind of like, I guess, at least recently coming to memory, Tales of Arise or something like that. It feels like. So, I guess I'm not too versed on the Valkyrie series. Apparently, this is a long-going series with Square Enix. Let me do a quick look up. Valkyrie Games series. Oh, so there's Valkyria Chronicles, which I'm familiar with that. Valkyria Revolution, Valkyria. Yeah, okay. So it's Chronicles, Revolution, and at least the most current mainline thing is the Chronicles, which is at least so far 1 through 4. So that's where this deviates off of. It seems like so. Didn't really grab me, but I mean, hey, if they say it's good, I might bite. Returnal Ascension. So basically DLC for Returnal. Apparently this is free DLC, which is even better. So for those that beat Returnal, well, it's time to return again. With a buddy this time, because they did also announce co-op and a new area for Returnal. Very curious how co-op mode works. I have a lot of questions considering the layout of the single player mode for this game. Yeah, I guess I'm just curious, like, do you share, I forgot what the mechanic was. Do you share adrenaline in terms of, like, I think adrenaline was the mechanic where if you kill however many enemies without getting killed, or kill however many enemies without taking damage, if you get that you would then get like stat boosts, like I think extra damage, faster fire rate, and stuff like that. I would assume you probably share adrenaline, I would guess. That would make things even more heated. Like you playing with a buddy and your buddy got hit. Damn, man, we had like 5 + 5 adrenaline. What the hell? No, man, if you didn't, because you wasn't helping me. And then, whole argument comes out of that. Not friends anymore. It's just all bad. It's like 10 years down the line. What happened, man? Hey, man, it all started with Returnal. So we can blame Returnal for future friendships being severed. That's the biggest takeaway from this announcement. Returnal hurting friendships. This game is pretty difficult, I have to admit. As somebody who's playing like the Dark Souls and all that, it's pretty difficult, I must admit. I'm curious to see how this does play with the just a lot of questions about co-op. Very curious how, like, what are the dynamics? Do you share health? Do you revive? It's a lot of questions. This is going to be pretty dope to see, I will say, to see games done quick, to see people do a co-op speed run. That's going to be pretty dope to watch. So what the next one is, I think summer games done quick. So I think this is coming out later this month. I think at the end of this month it's dropping too. So but they did say, new area, as well as I believe a survival type mode that is like literally endless and survive how long you can. So that's gonna be also fun to watch people better than me just obliterate this game. But yeah, a lot of questions. I would assume the co-op mode is online as well, but it seemed like they didn't really reveal all that information. But I'm looking forward to it. Free too. Gotta love it. They've been showing a couple of games that are coming out. Like they showed a bit of Ghostwire Tokyo, a little bit more of it. Forspoken, they showed a little bit more about this, as well as they announced, I think recently, that this game is getting delayed till October 2022. So, and of course, the meme generator of all meme generators, it feels like Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. It is coming out like next week, I think. So that is gonna be interesting. I mean, all this time could be used for other stuff, but I digress. Gundam Evolution, this came out of nowhere. So at least I didn't know it's free to play, but apparently it's free to play multiplayer shooter set in Gundam universe. Interesting. Yeah, I was definitely captivated by just of course, me being a first person shooter fan, but in the Gundam universe where, each Gundam has their particular perks, kind of like the Gundam versus games, which at least my friends put me on. But very curious to see how this is going to play. They definitely show like some objective modes and stuff like that, but this is going to be pretty interesting. I'm interested, to say the least. So, Gundam first person shooter, free to play, Gundam universe. I'm into it. Additionally, out of nowhere, I did not see this coming at all. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga collection. 13 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games from 18-bit to 16-bit consoles. Releases to handheld games to arcade classics, coming out later in 2022. The list of games: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade, Turtles in Time Arcade, the NES version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, TMNT 2, the arcade game on. That's weird. I guess they just on Nintendo. TMNT 3, the Manhattan Project on from the NES. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters for the NES. That's the thing too. I think they have like pretty much literally all the versions of it. So you got, of course, one of the better Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games, Turtles in Time, I believe, which is the port from the arcade game to Super Nintendo. Hyperstone Heist for the Sega Genesis, Tournament Fighters. That's also Genesis, the Super Nintendo version. So there's multiple versions of these games as well, which is pretty damn dope. Fall of the Foot Clan for the Game Boy. Never even heard of that. And pretty much all these two other Game Boy games. Back from the Sewers, Radical Rescue. That is a lot of damn value for, I think the price, I don't even think they revealed the price yet, but for probably $40, that's a pretty good proposal, I have to say. Just as a fan of the beat 'em up games, in of itself, that's what has me sold. And then they also have each different version, the Sega Genesis versions, as well as the Super Nintendo versions, and in, at least in this case, I don't even know they had made an NES version of Tournament Fighters. They have like literally all versions of all majority of these games that did release multi-platform at the time. Xbox, PC, and Switch, as well as PlayStation. They did confirm with physical boxes as well. So that's cool. I thought they weren't going to do that. It seemed like they would just go digital and let limited run games do its thing, make its physical and collectors and ultimate what would they call it? Turtle Power Edition or Cowabunga Edition. Well, I guess because Cowabunga is already in the title, it probably wouldn't. That'd be redundant. It'd probably be Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection, Turtle Power Edition. That makes the most sense. If I was in marketing, that's what I would do. Giga Bash, which I think is a spiritual successor to the War of the Monsters game back in the PS2 era. So that's pretty dope. I'm interested in that. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle. I gotta do it. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure
All-Star Battle R.
All right. My mixer not cooperating with me today. It's okay. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Because this, I think originally came back or released on the PlayStation 3 back in 2013. But this is a, I guess, plus version where they added a lot of characters, apparently. It was previously 32, but now it's 50. Damn, 50 playable characters. That's a lot of JoJo. That's a lot of JoJoing. That's probably like what half of it is like every deviation of Dio possible. Watch it be when they release it. It's gonna be have like Dio angry, Dio happy, Dio elated, Dio sad Dio. Just all various states of Dio. I'm gonna call it right now. That's how they cop out. They copped out by just having way more versions of Dio because they know us as JoJo fans would eat it up. But I digress. As a JoJo fan, I'm definitely looking forward to that though. I haven't also never playing the PS3 version either, so all the more interest in me to play that too. Trek to Yomi, which is like a samurai, old school samurai film. It feels like, looking pretty dope. This is like a side-scrolling samurai slasher. At least that's the vibe I got, but it seems to be pretty accurate. So, looking pretty good. I'll definitely pick that up for sure. But let's talk about the huge ass elephant in the room when it comes to a certain game that started this whole event. They talk with Capcom and it was like, you know what, this is a great game to start off with. Whew, man, I'm gonna try to contain myself, but man, I have a lot to say about this damn game. So, start of the state of play. We got this trailer. You know, it looked very futuristic. Then we see dinosaurs falling from the sky, apparently. And then I'm like, oh, dinosaurs. And then, this is interesting. And then I was, at least first personally, I was thinking, could this be EDF 6? I think they might have showed gameplay of EDF 6 already, but I was like, I don't know. Maybe this is something EDF related. Because that's the only mind space I could think of in like a dystopian, dilapidated new world. And, these large monsters, like they've done bugs. I'm curious, maybe I guess they're just going to move to dinosaurs. But then, like shortly after, they say made by Capcom. I was like, oh shit, because this has to be Dino Crisis. It has to be. Could be no other game. Then, you start seeing the dinosaurs, and then you see, of course, a red-haired white woman who, of course, has a very obvious similarity to Regina, of who's the main character of the Dino Crisis games. And yeah, so it's like, okay, this is Dino Crisis. All right, I guess they're staying with the, futuristic motif, I guess. All right. Then it just started deteriorating more and more as the trailer kept playing. It was like a team of these, misfit futuristic people battling these dinosaurs. And then it looked to be like a PvE kind of horde based game with dinosaurs. Then towards the end you get Exoprimal. And man, just the wave of emotions this trailer conveyed. Just horrible. Especially like, talk about a scenario where you should read the damn room. Capcom, of all people, who has shown history of reviving certain IPs and franchises. Of course, considering the immense success of one of their most popular games in their portfolio, which is definitely, I guess more recently Monster Hunter, but of course the always consistent mainstay, which has been Resident Evil, which Dino Crisis was basically kind of like somewhat of a deviation off of. And you have you decide that, you know what, people really are wanting and clamoring for Dino Crisis remake, Dino survival horror, as has been very dormant for too long. Jurassic Park is making a comeback. Maybe we should get in on this train of dinosaurs and horror. Capcom's like, no, we good. We just gonna make a dino related dino related, but not Dino Crisis at all. No relation to Dino Crisis. We have a red-haired protagonist from the Dino Crisis games. She looks very similar to Regina, but it's not Regina. This is a new IP. This is not Dino Crisis. It's not Dino Crisis, the game that like literally almost everybody would want to see come back. It's Exoprimal. It's a new IP by the same people that made Dino Crisis. So yeah, that just get who read the room. Is somebody at Capcom reading the room? Is somebody at Capcom even listening to feedback? I mean, first it was Resident Evil 4 remake over Code Veronica, which I can kind of get to some very loose extent, considering that Resident Evil 4 is one of the most successful games of Capcom's lineage of games. But okay, I give you a little bit of that. But to just stomp on the face of one of, I'd say, most cultivating franchises that, I mean, understandably failed with the third game, but could definitely be a prime game for a reboot. Like, let's make a game called Exoprimal. I just feel like somebody at Capcom is just some troll. Just want to piss off fans of their older IPs that would, I'd say, make a killing if remade, just off sales alone. I mean, we're not even talking about the quality of the game, but just specifically talking about just the sales alone of a game that's been long dormant, that's related to Resident Evil, literally like the same Resident Evil template, but with dinosaurs. And considering the graphics we have today, Capcom's RE engine, which is stunning for a lot of its games, it's proven. And to just not do that, but do this Exoprimal instead is just, That's messed up, man. It feels like Capcom's literally just giving a big middle finger to all the fans of Dino Crisis that would love to see it come back. I'd say I'd even go as far to say if you are a fan of Resident Evil, you more than likely probably are a fan of Dino Crisis. If you were playing, PlayStation back in the day when this was it was a thing. Just my God, read the room, Capcom. How you gonna do that? Dinosaurs and Capcom can only equal Dino Crisis. This exoprimal is not a proper equation. Then on top of that, it doesn't look that impressive. It might be the fact that I wanted this to be Dino Crisis, but it's not, and that in of itself is putting me in a sour state. But I think even on its own merit, after looking back at it, I'm just not interested. I think it's just maybe more so the fact I want Dino Crisis, but seems to be an ongoing thing with Capcom. They are always like almost there, but no, come on, no. Oh, you want Dino Crisis Exoprimal? Here you go. I was like, oh, you want the Code Veronica remake, RE4 remake? All right. I just to be a fly in a room at like one of these Capcom meetings where they're discussing like, maybe what to do with the next game or what is the next project or whatever. But really, really breaking my balls, Capcom. Really breaking it. They got dinosaurs pouring out. Capcom presents. It's gotta be Dino Crisis. No, it's Exoprimal. What are you talking about? It got Regina, who's a red-haired protagonist from Dino Crisis in this game, but it's not Regina. It feels so tone deaf. I think that's what's bothering me so much. That like, okay, if you're not gonna be like Dino Crisis or whatever, why you gonna have, of course, one of the most prolific characters associated with that game series, be very similar to that in this. Just thinking about it more really irks me now. The fact that like somebody didn't look at this and like, just look at, I don't know, man. I mean, it looks kind of cool. I'll give it that, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like it, at least like some extent during development, this must have been Dino Crisis, attempt to be Dino Crisis at some point, because the similarities are like too damn hard to ignore. It really are, especially like still kind of sticking with the aesthetic that was somewhat similar to Dino Crisis 3 in this, futuristic jetpacky type, I don't know, universe. It really hurts. I feel bad. Shout out to Jaw Muncher, man. One of the biggest Dino Crisis fans out there. That it's funny. I felt more bad for him. Who's been a strong proponent for bringing Dino Crisis back, and then like I know him looking at this. Exoprime. What is? Oh man. Read feedback, Capcom. Feedback. You should take it. I mean, it's just frustrating, man. It really is. It's very frustrating that like just watch this be like a teaser for I can only think maybe there might be a teaser for Dino Crisis maybe within this game or something. I don't know. But still, I think we would prefer Dino Crisis over this anyway, still. hurts me to no end, but I've said my piece. Overall, though, I'd say the state of play was pretty solid. A lot of games I definitely wanted to play. Definitely was Japanese focused. There was a lot of weird repeats of games we've already seen, which felt kind of detracted from the show. I mean, it's like if you say we're gonna have some, I mean, I just say I would assume you primarily show. I guess they technically did primarily show new stuff, but just weird to show stuff we've seen already within the show when we could already have done that ourselves. But I digress. Yeah, that and this whole exoprimal, well, how much call, I forgot. I need to refer to this game as not Dino Crisis because that's essentially what it was. Not Dino Crisis from Capcom, makers of Dino Crisis, but not Dino Crisis. So, that just saying that hurts my soul, considering that like how much we've been asking. One of the other games in Capcom's backlog that is definitely the most deserving of a remake, outside of, of course, like Code Veronica, is definitely Dino Crisis. Just especially now that dinosaurs are making a comeback, like in the zeitgeist of everything, especially with the new Jurassic Park coming out. Totally could have just got this hype going. Let's say Jurassic Park comes out, and then maybe like drop this game like a month or so after. Capcom dropping the ball. Ugh. Frustrated, man. It really is. Capcom Dino Crisis was right there. We don't want it. It's infuriating. It really is. All in all, yeah. After that disappointment, all in all, yeah, it was all right. So that just hurts, man. It really does. Moving on. Wait a minute. Hold on. 33. Almost messed up my codes. It's hard. It's hard doing all this at once. The Evo 2022 game lineup has been announced. At least the lineup for this year. We got Street Fighter V Champion Edition. Probably likely its last appearance, considering that we got the 6 announced. I would assume it's probably going to be dropped by next year. So the last appearance in Street Fighter V also, I guess, makes sense because now, since PlayStation purchased Evo as well, Guilty Gear Strive, that's no surprise there, considering the great online. Well, no, this actually is going to be offline. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be at the same spot, Mandalay Bay, like it's always been. Wow, yeah, I guess don't even have to factor in online anymore now, technically. So yeah, Guilty Gear Strive, Street Fighter V, Guilty Gear Strive, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, Tekken 7, okay. It's funny, yeah, all these look much better now without having to consider an online netcode for some of these titles. King of Fighters 15 making his first appearance. Melty Blood Type Lumina. Dragon Ball Fighters or Fighter Z. I always get mixed up either way. I think it's Fighters. Dragon Ball Fighters. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. And Skullgores. Skullgores. Where did that come from? Skullgores. Skullgirls Second Encore. All announced to be at Evo 2022. let me go ahead and try to do me an episode of Made. If y'all if you don't know what that show is, I have none but love for y'all. But Made was for those that don't know, was the this funny MTV show back in the day. I say funny in some ways because basically you literally would say I want to be made into something that's in most instances very unrealistic to attain within a very tight time frame, which I think the timeline was generally either a month or 3 months or something like that. I think it was maybe a month, but either way, it was like I want to be made into a bodybuilder. I want to be made into like a football player, cheerleader, whatever. Some obviously more attainable within a short amount of time than others, but still, it's just the as a high school kid, growing up watching this show, I was like, man, maybe I could be made in at least in this case, made into a fighting game player, which I did try legitimately. I want to say in 2016, but that didn't that didn't pan out so well. Let's just say that. But hey, Evo 2022. What are you gonna do? That's my personal slogan. Evo 2022. What are you gonna do? All in all, I'm definitely looking forward to it. One thing of note that I did forget to cover last week was that of one of the bigger notable things that was revealed was that Smash is not making an appearance at Evo 2022 this year. Probably one of the most iconic games associated with Evo, I'd say. Whether it be Melee or Ultimate, I'd say probably Melee, since that's even like in some cases withstood Ultimate, at least having the full blown theatrical kind of event type deal. Save for prime time when it comes to viewing Evo. But yeah, so at least the statement from Evo themselves. Please join us March 8th, blah, 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 for the Evo 2022 announcement show, which already transpired. While we're thankful for all the amazing games joining us later this year in Las Vegas, we want to shut this down right now, temper them expectations, because we want, I'm paraphrasing obviously, we want to let you know in advance that Super Smash Brothers will not be making a return appearance. Since 2007, we've seen historic Smash Brothers moments created at Evo's events. We are saddened that Nintendo has chosen not to continue that legacy with us this year. In the future, we hope to once again celebrate the Super Smash Brothers community alongside them. So, clearly that statement obviously just throws Nintendo under the bus, pretty much. That like, but at the same time, it's like Nintendo going Nintendo anyway. So it's like not really a surprise Nintendo would pull something like this. I mean, I think it's a lot of speculation that, considering that PlayStation bought Evo, that I think maybe that possibly factored into Nintendo pulling out of this event now. And I believe they also are creating their own special event around Smash Brothers or something like that too. So I don't know, but I feel like it definitely seems like this is more on Nintendo's end rather than PlayStation or Evo in of themselves, considering how iffy and finicky Nintendo's been in the past regarding Evo as well, in terms of just the wish-washiness of Evo, and at least the apparent like difficulties like Nintendo has generally been putting on people, I think, that even hold an event for Smash and things like that. So what can you say but just put your Nintendo go Nintendo. That's all you can. Nintendo go Nintendo, unfortunately. Kind of sad to see, to be honest. I've definitely always associated Smash with Evo as well, so kind of unfortunate, kind of sad. I'm curious to see what is their substitute for this, because I don't see them just pulling their game from Evo, but not having anything as a substitute. Or maybe they seem like they would be bold enough to do it, but like, you know, come to our event at the same time, prime time to watch instead of Evo or something like that. I would not be surprised considering Nintendo would try and do something like that. Not be surprised the least bit. So, all in all, I mean, at least with the unfortunate news of Smash not coming back, it is good to see that at least some very solid games are making a return for like who knows the umpteenth time. At least my favorite, of course, to always spectate that I've generally gravitates towards is Tekken 7. So that's can't wait for some as what Tasty Steve would say, some good ass Tekken. Doing my little voice.
Some good ass Tekken.
So looking forward to it. Looking all the just to see all the nasty, disgusting combos that I can only do if I just get lucky once. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Yeah. With that being said, let's move on. Next topic of discussion. Overwatch 2. Just today, we got a community update with Aaron Keller, who's the now director of Overwatch, since Jeff Kaplan left a while back. It feels like now, but we actually got a update. You know, he's like, guys, we've heard you. We've not been giving you any updates at all. We messed up. So actually, we're changing our plan. So essentially, what they did at least say, to kind of paraphrase the update, they are, at least their main goal is try to get Overwatch 2 to the players as soon as possible, reasonably, which I think the PvE aspect has been factored into that, because I believe the initial plan was to have Overwatch 2 release with the PvE content as well, but from what they said in the video, that they're splitting that up, that they're trying to focus on the multiplayer first and start rolling that out, getting people to test it, and then like down the line they're gonna drop the PvE content a bit after that. So, which is totally understandable. I mean, Overwatch has always been multiplayer focused. I mean, that's always been the main thing for the game. So I think most people collectively will understand that, like, that's literally what this game is built on, just the multiplayer. And I think a lot of people understand that having the PvE take a backseat will be totally understandable if that means us getting to play the multiplayer faster, which by fast, it's pretty much, it means this April, which they announced that there is going to be a PvP beta drop in late April, where players will be able to try the new 5-on-5 mode, which is a drastic change. I think it doesn't seem that drastic, but I think in the grand scheme of things feels pretty drastic from the standard 6v6 play. The new Hero Sojourn that we saw in the trailers, 4 new maps, the new mode push, hero rework. So I, at least from my understanding, like a massive retooling and re-envisioning of the characters' dynamics in terms of what we used to know from the previous game. Orisa, Doomfist, Bastion, and Sombra getting big changes. And then the new ping system, which is like, it's crazy how influential certain games, certain mechanics have directly influenced others. So clearly, inspired by Apex Legends, the new ping system, which is basically a non-verbal way of more effective communication for people who don't prefer to talk or get in the team chat, game chat, whatever. So I'm digging it. I'm definitely gonna try it out. I'm gonna try to get in that beta, but I tried to get in earlier, but clearly them servers was flooded. That site must have got DDoSed or something because of just the crazy amount of people trying to get in the beta, which is kind of good though. It's good to see that there's still genuine interest for Overwatch. I think the Overwatch fan base is still pretty thriving, pretty lively. I think with the downside of which I think has killed some morale for the game, which is the lack of updates. Since I've never necessarily heard too many drastic big new changes to the game since they were starting development on Overwatch 2. So yeah, I'm digging it. I'm trying to see if I can get in. I'm not sure. I think it's only PC. First mainstream closed beta will be in April for PC players, with an open beta later this year for console and PC players. So, yeah, mainstream beta, at least the first wave beta, is going to be for PC only, and then open to console and PC later. So, cool. I'm digging it. Finally. Yeah, that game has been in development for too long. So it's good to see them, realizing that. It's funny how that changed after they got bought by Microsoft. I doubt there's any correlation, but I just find that very funny timing, if anything. So, moving on. God of War, the game we all know. Very grotesque, gratuitous violence. There's some sex in there, Kratos Kratos touching titties. It's the norm, Well, we getting that in TV series form. So at least Amazon Prime Video is in talks with the God of War series to make a series, essentially. So they are in the talks of making a God of War TV series, which very curious to see what that looks like. They don't give us any. Yeah, they at least say they're in negotiations to for a live action TV series based on the God of War series. The series adaptation comes from Expanse creators, executive producers Mark Fergus and Hawk Otsby, and the Wheel of Time executive showrunner producer Ralph Judkins, as well as, of course, Sony Pictures Television and PlayStation Productions. Yeah, I think with this series, it's all going to come down to the casting. I think the big talk in town is who would be the ideal Kratos for this series. I think an obvious choice would be The Rock. I mean, he's had experience playing like mythological characters as well. I can only think of that. Who else? This is super random, but I think that one dude from Game of Thrones, the Sully guy, the light skinned dude that I think he's a rapper in real life, a UK rapper or something, and he was I think he's is it the Sullied, where his thing is cut off, but that's not even relevant. That has no relevance to what no relevance to at all to what this. Oh man, it's not relevant at all. Anyway, it took me out. This is no relevance whatsoever, but I had to put it out there. I think if he probably bulked up a bit more, I think he would make a good Kratos. He's got that. I think he's got that in him. Who else? Who else? Damn it. It's hard to. I mean, I guess somebody who we haven't seen before. Yeah, I don't know. Kratos, the God of War. I know I'm thinking of only thinking wrestler is pretty much Goldberg. I mean, he seems like he could make a good Kratos. Who else? Maybe Batista. I mean, he might be able to swing it. I know he's trying to be with the Gears of War. That'd be funny as hell if he actually got a TV series with Gears of War as well as God of War. That'd be freaking hilarious. But yeah, those would be my picks. But it's hard to visualize it considering we haven't, just seeing them in costume or whatever with the white paint or whatever, Ash. That's really gonna do it. I don't know. I feel like he's got to be black. I guess that's not. I mean, considering all adaptations now, that's not necessarily a requirement, but I don't know. Yeah. And then we don't know where is this going to take place in terms of if this is going to be based off of the 2019 God of War reboot / sequel, or the previous like Greek mythology God of War trilogy. So that also factors into, I think, of course, because with the who would be the boy, and that they should put I don't know what I'm thinking of, Ed Sheeran as boy. I don't that doesn't make sense at all. He's a grown man. Just put Tom Holland as boy. I mean, he's acting young everywhere, and at this point, just might as well he just be boy. I digress. Just very curious. I think it's definitely all going to come down to the casting, of course, the writing, and what in the timeline. What is this gonna? Were we going to start from one and go up, or what? How is that going to work? So, I guess only time will tell. And with that being said, that concludes the news, is concluded. We concluded the news. I am not stalling because I forgot to put my time codes in. I'm not doing it at all. I don't think I'm doing it. Am I? Maybe I am. I don't know. Could I or could I not? That's for you to decide, Who am I to tell you that I'm stalling? Which I am. So let's talk about what I've been playing, which has been Elden Ring, of course. I think I'm about 40. I'm coming on 40 hours so far. It is still mind blowing to me that like how much, I guess, square footage within this game there is, and it feels like I'm 40 hours in. I still feel like I barely scratched the surface of this game, that is still crazy to me. It still feels like it's so much I still need to explore, haven't explored, want to explore, of course, and I'm really loving it. Just the whole exploration factor that generally hasn't really been in Souls games. I guess I can't say that. It has been to a much more limited extent compared to this game, which is way more open world. than the more linear like games. So it's so good. And then I still can't get over the graphics playing on a max settings and on PC, and it's just beautiful. It is so beautiful. I'm just always in awe by, especially coming to new environments and really enjoying all the new scenery and just the dynamics, the miscellaneous characters and animals frolicking around in a very realistic manner. So good. So good. What else? I finally got the gut sword, the ridiculously big ass sword that just makes everything more fun. Um, that's that's literally my rule with every Souls game that has it. I guess sans Bloodborne and Sekiro. But that's the rule for me. If it don't matter where I'm at in the game in terms of if I can even wield the damn thing properly, you better believe I'm about to use that damn big ass sword I can't even use. Better believe until I can, just like guts, Miyazaki a real one for always keeping that berserk sword in there. Just keep it in there. I'm a sucker for some. This might sound wrong. I'm a sucker for some big swords. Okay, I said it. Anytime I see it, anytime I see a big sword, I'm going after it. That could totally be taken out of context. Please do not clip this out of context, because man, that would be not great. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. This game is great. And then I do really like, I think the Souls games previously taught me this, definitely, but I do like which do I say restrain or, I guess reservations for me to, how do I say it? For me to instantly, I think I might have alluded to this before, but me to instantly identify boss fights where I'm like, this feels too tough, and then just bail, and then go try to find somewhere else where I am at a decent level, and the boss is beatable at the end, which I really like how this game. But again, I think this caters to the previous games in the series that kind of taught me that, where they don't explicitly tell you this is how you should play. You should go to each location, and each location is generally catered towards a specific level you are, but that essentially is kind of the not, I can't even say expectation, because some people can do that. Well, I think it depends on your build as well. I think mages and magic people and like ranged people generally always are able to play this game and have a much easier time than melee builds of any sort, when you have to get close and have to time dodges and blocking and stuff like that way more, and it's more important and detrimental to you surviving, basically. So that's always been a factor, but I just do love the exploration, man. They really get exploration right. Being rewarded for your curiosity, going to places like, wonder if I go here, and then sure enough, I at least find something. I find like something very valuable, some important item, a weapon, or I find like a whole dungeon. I can, dungeon crawl a bit and, beat the boss and get a good amount of souls and things like that. So, hey, it's a Souls game yet again. But I definitely feel it definitely feels much easier in a lot of aspects, at least specifically, like I think I mentioned the statues of America, um, which I feel like they aren't where I would like them to be, but I mean, maybe again, that's kind of going back to it being a difficult game where I feel like in the places where it would be very great to have it, they're not there. And then in other areas where it's like, I guess you put this there. And then, of course, maybe like 5% of the time, they're in like a perfect spot where like, yeah, this makes sense to put this here. So, um, it's great, man. Again, 40 hours into this game, and I feel like I still have not scratched the surface, which is so crazy to me how they can put so much of this in. These 4 years, they was putting in some work, man. That's for sure. But yeah, I'm really really enjoying it. Loving the exploration. They really got that down. And yeah, just it's so crazy how much exploration and a Souls game like just gels together that I to the point I didn't think it did not seem like it would gel together, but it really does. And man, I've never considered like, man, I think I really want to play this again. While I'm playing it, if that makes sense, because I am very tempted. We'll see at the end though, because I mean, I'm hearing like 80, 100 hours if you do everything, which that's what I plan to do, at least do everything I possibly can. And the fun aspect of progression, like getting your ass beat by this boss, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna take my L, I'm gonna come back when I'm stronger, and then actually coming back stronger and actually defeating the boss. Still getting that dopamine, still getting it, still getting them hits, that's for sure. So surprise, Elden Ring is still great. So yeah, again, yeah, it's hard. I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on if a non-Souls fan would coming into this would enjoy it, but I think based on the exploration elements alone, I don't know. I feel like they might get some enjoyment out of it, and then also like at least playing more with the horse. Horse combat actually is beneficial in a lot of fights too, where it seems to be implied that you should use a horse. And then of course there's a lot of found a lot of a fair amount of cheesing techniques and strategies, especially with the big sword. The big sword definitely stuns in a lot of situations and doing that big damage. I got ranked up my sword to at least last time I checked plus 11. Still trying to find these damn chunks because I want to be stronger. I just want to be strong. I want to just decimate. Just want to just obliterate everything in my path. So I want to be like Guts. I think I just put it together. I think I found armor that's also very seems like a ode to the Berserk series too. So I think it's not been a I guess unknown thing of the numerous references to Berserk in the From Software's games too. So, and I love it. I love it for it. I really do. Elden Ring is good. That's all I have to say. I'm gushing. I mean, I'm a gush. I'm a gush about Elden Ring because it's good. It's good. It may not be for everybody, but you know what? That's okay. It might be for me. Yeah, that's literally all I've been playing, and enjoying. Don't get it twisted. Cool. That being said, let's get into what I've been watching real quick. Shenmue. Been playing. I guess I said Shenmue in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a game. Watching Shenmue, the series. I think I talked about it previously, but a joint venture between Adult Swim and Crunchyroll, bringing Shenmue to the animated form. So it seems to be sticking pretty true to the first game's events, and it seems to be going into two, and probably doing two for season 2 if there ever is one. But yeah, I am really digging Shenmue. I really am. Really enjoying it. Love all the references to the game if you played the game. Like I mentioned before, it's at this moment where I think Lon D realizes the mirror is in Hong Kong, and he already left for Hong Kong, and now Rio has to figure out a way to get to Hong Kong as well to try to beat him, and so that's been a fun ride, I'd say. It feels very close and yeah, definitely faithful to the events of the game that I recall. So I recommend it. You have no excuse. It's on Crunchyroll as well as Adult Swim. So what excuse do you have? None at all. So get on it. Also, I don't know. I feel guilty every time I talk about it, but The Walking Dead, I am shamelessly still watching. I mean, to its merit, it has actually been pretty decent these past few episodes so far. They definitely been mixing stuff up, especially I think what's been saving them a lot is doing the time skips, for these certain episodes. So I think that's definitely added to more mystery as well as I guess distraction in terms of the plot getting stale or whatever. But this episode was definitely interesting. It was I guess spoilers for this latest episode, but Eugene, who's with the girl that got him to come to this what do you call it? Settlement? I guess settlement or Commonwealth. Had a really good night. Wake up in the morning, he's like, I believe they say I love you for the first time. And then sure enough, shortly after that, she goes missing. And then Eugene puts his detective hat on, tries to find out what happened. Come to find out, towards the end of the episode, it was all a lie. It was all a ploy to basically rope Eugene and his crew into their crew of the Commonwealth, to rope them in and basically get them in and involved. And then she just ignored them like they never had anything. And I'm like, damn. I felt for him. I can understand where, just always being an outcast, not being loved enough, and then getting into that situation. And, just, this was never a thing. This was just a ploy to get you to come be with us in our community. It's just the deception. Thought they were going to kill him right then and there, but he's like, no, you could tell them they are. You lied to us too. So and I was like, damn, you right. It's a good point. It was a good point. You making some good points. That's always the good villains too. It's like, damn, you right. Where it's always that perspective, that whole matter perspective, where it's like, if we did follow these people in the same way we followed the cast of The Walking Dead, the original cast, like, we would probably see them as evil too. So perspective is funny, man. It really is. So I mean, I think that alone, I think it was really, really interesting to see with this episode and see how things happen now. Now that the secret's out, that they've been deceived to come to this community, and Like, what now? Now, like, the cat's out of the bag. But then it's like they evened it out because they lied about their whereabouts and their people, too. So, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know how I feel about it because it's like he making some legit points. It's like, you have a good point, but I'm taught to see you as the enemy now because you deceived us, but we technically deceived you. So, gotta love it. Hey, Walking Dead's got some fighter in them. It's got some fire left, I'll say. Outside of that, it's pretty much been it. So, yeah. With that being said, I think that'll conclude this episode, Switch Your Sights podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to like, rate, and subscribe on your various podcasting video platforms. You can catch me record this podcast live on Thursday evenings on Twitch TV/ASwitch. You can also catch this podcast in archive form on youtube.com/aswitch as well. With all that being said, yeah, I think that'll do it. Until next time, y'all. Elden Ring life. Feel free to fuck. Get your damn game on. Oh yeah. Nobody's safe.